Hey there, and welcome back to the Great Canadian Blueprint. I'm Ian, your guide through Canada's economic and real estate past. Today, we're diving into the heart of Canada's grain economy into the 20th century. As a REMAX real estate agent from Hamilton, Ontario, I'm unpacking the economic, social, and real estate shifts that shaped our country. Let's get started. Picture the prairies in the 1920s. Golden wheat fields stretching to the horizon, a symbol of Canada's economic might. Agriculture, with wheat as its star, made up 17.2% of Canada's GDP in 1926. That's like one in every $6 coming from farming. In 1920, with wheat exports alone estimated to be worth $185 million, about $2.5 billion today, the prairies, Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba, grew the wheat, producing over 90% of Canada's crops on massive farms, some of them as big as 675 hectares by the 1920s. Their flat, fertile land was perfect. Eastern Canada, on the other hand, like Ontario and Quebec, grew softer wheat for pastries, plus corn, soybeans, and livestock, suited for their milder climate and smaller farms. This split shaped different economies. The West was all about grain, and the East leaned on manufacturing and mixed farming. But Western farmers felt shortchanged. The national policy of 1879 slapped tariffs on imported goods, protecting Eastern manufacturing but forcing Western farmers to buy pricier equipment from Ontario instead of cheaper US options. The Canadian Pacific Railway, vital for shipping grain, charged high freight rates, sometimes eating 20% of farmers' profits. In 1883, frost and drought wrecked crops, and farmers, stuck with CPR rates, formed the Manitoba and Northwestern Farmers Union to demand fairer deals. This was Western alienation in action, a feeling that Ottawa, dominated by Ontario and Quebec's 70% population share, ignored the needs of the West. The United Farmers Movement, like the United Farmers of Alberta in 1909 and the Progressive Party in the 1920s, pushed back, advocating for free trade and better representation. And they won big. Alberta's UFA formed the provincial government in 1921. These tensions weren't just talk. They shaped Canada's politics, showing how grain wealth stirred regional divides. So where did all this money go? Grain exports peaked at $323 million in 1928, funded national projects. The CPR, built with government support, connected the West to Eastern ports, boosting trade but also Eastern economies like Montreal's, where grain was shipped. Immigration policy like the Dominion Lands Act of 1872 brought 2 million settlers to the prairies by 1914, growing the West farms. Over 600,000 homesteads by 1930. Agricultural research like Marquis wheat got federal cash too, enhancing prairie productivity. But the East benefited big time. Tariffs propped up Ontario's factories, and ports like Montreal and Halifax thrived on grain exports. The St. Lawrence Seaway, started in the 1950s, got funding partly from national wealth tied to grain, favoring Eastern trade. Westerners felt their grain money was building central Canada's industry while they got stuck with the high costs. It's a debate that still goes on today. Does the West's wealth get shared fairly? When we fast forward to today, Canada's grain industry is a $24 billion powerhouse, exporting around 10 to 12% of the world's wheat, with 33.8 million tons produced in 2022. Saskatchewan's agriculture sector contributes 9.8% to its GDP, starkly contrasting Ontario, where agriculture counts for about 1.2% of GDP. Western alienation persists, with Alberta and Saskatchewan pushing for fairer resource policies like pipeline approvals against Ottawa's focus on central Canada. So what's the takeaway? Canada's grain economy built wealth, cities, and global reputation, but sparked East versus West tensions over who got the benefits. It grew the West farms, but also the East industries, leaving a legacy of debate. At the end of the day, though, without the connections through the East to the global markets, do you think the West could ever have found a way to sell all their crops? Thanks for watching the Great Canadian Blueprint. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.